Let's go to Chicago right now.
I come up with serious stuff, and you just want a kid.
I'm segueing into our next guest here, okay?
Right.
To Chicago, where we're going to bring in Dave Kaplan, a longtime radio and TV host and play-by-play man. He's with ESPN in Chicago. He's with Comcast Sportsnet in Chicago. He's a longtime friend of mine, and he covers the Bears on a daily basis. David, welcome to the show.
What's going on, boys? Great to be with you.
Well, we're talking about it's quite possible that if the Cubs go on to win the World Series.
No, we're talking Bears first.
No, but I want to. You're segueing. The Cubs going to win the World Series this year, and the Rockies are going to break the Cubs record for not having won a World Series for like 150 years, and all of our third-generation people are never going to see the Rockies win a World Series. I think people who've hung on for and are 90 years old are finally going to get to see the Cubs win a World Series. Hello, Dave.
You know what? It's going to be a great battle. They got to get by that wild card game against what looks like the Pirates. I guess that's not decided yet, but that's probably what it's going to be. They'll have the best pitcher in the National League going, in Jake Arrieta.
Yep.
But I just don't know if they have enough depth in their starting rotation that when you get to a 7-game series and you look and go, well, boy, you only got two really legit number one type guys. Teams that win the World Series usually have more depth in their rotation. But
pray for rain.
Really has it other than a couple.
Well, pray for rain.
Well, as long as we're talking Cubs, we might as well do that first and then go to the Bears. David, you've grown up in Chicago. I grew up in Chicago. We know the Cubs fans can be unrealistic about expectations. How realistic are they being about the Cubs this year?
I think they're being really realistic because they had no level of expectation for the team coming in. That nobody thought they were going to win 93, 94 ball games. They thought, they'll be improved. Even the most diehard, other than the guys in that clubhouse and Joe Madden, thought they'll be solid 83-win team. But to be where they're at, third best record in all of baseball, have all these kids playing meaningful roles, and all of them contributing at a high level. Chris Bryant will be Rookie of the Year, but Addison Russell's the starting shortstop at 21. Javi Baez has come up and played well. You have all these guys out there, Schwarber, Soler. I don't think anybody could have told you that. So if they were to lose next Wednesday to Garrett Cole and the Pirates, people would be bummed. Sox fans would have fun with their Cub fan brethren, but that all aside, people would be like, we can't wait for opening day next year.
I just hope it ends. I'm tired of a century of you can't say Cubs fans without putting the words long-suffering in front of them.
It's true.
You get it over with already.
I do have one more baseball question because we're just talking about what's wrong with the Rockies. Joe Madden meant what? 15 games to the Cubs? I mean, Joe Madden is not somebody that just came out of nowhere and was a good manager. He did that with a team in Tampa for years and years. How much do you think Joe Madden made? You saying 94, 95. Was he worth 20 games to the Cubs?
Boy, that's a great question. I don't know if you can quantify it with a number, Woody. I think you can look at the team and say something's different. Now, someone who's covered the team for almost 25 years, me, I'm there almost every day when they're home. I do the pre and the post. I've seen it all, and I'm just telling you the culture is a billion times different. He has changed everything. He doesn't want to hear about curses. He doesn't. He's just throwing out all the old baseball axioms. They come in one day, and he says, no batting practice. It's the most overrated thing in the game. A couple of weeks ago, we had American Legion Week. He said, when you played Legion ball, you went to your summer job, you got a sandwich, and you fell out of the car, and you're ready to play. And so he wouldn't let the team in the locker room. He locked the doors till 3 o'clock, and he had an American Legion banner up there, and they came out, stretched, went out and played, and took 2 or 3. So he said, please, don't give me this. We got to get there 8 hours early, and we got to go through this routine, and we got to hit. And he plays music at spring training. They had a band. They had a magician. Last week, he had literally the Brookfield Zoo brought out, penguins, sloths, snow leopards, a cheetah. They had all this stuff
Snakes.
on the field. He's like, just relax and have fun. It's been totally different. He's changed my mind that a manager can matter or not matter. He matters.
Yeah. Tony La Russa, Joe Madden, you go down the line. And the other thing I like is he just went off on AC/DC and said Highway to Hell is the worst song in the history of the world.
Hey, David, let's talk some football. Are the Bears trying to move Matt Forte, and what would they expect in return?
I mean, they're open for business. They're willing to move pretty much anything. I would think Kyle Long is an untouchable. But beyond a couple guys, they really are open for business because they know how awful this roster is. John Fox did not realize it when he took the job. I'm just telling you. I've got friends who know him. When he took the job, he never, ever looked at that roster and went, oh, boy, that's a tough job. He looked at this as, hey, you know what? That's a 5-year, $25 million guaranteed deal. I'm John Fox. I'm a darn good football coach, and I'll find a way to win enough ball games with that team to be competitive. And now, in June, he reportedly remarked to somebody, oh, my God, what the heck happened here? This is horrible. And they're not going to win a lot of games. They're not. I don't care what people think. Get Jay back, please. Jay is what Jay is. Now, he's way better than Jimmy Clausen, who's awful. But this is an awful, awful football team. They may beat Oakland this weekend if Jay plays, but I really look at the team and think it's a 4-year probably rebuild. I'm not sure John Fox is still here when this whole thing finally gets fixed. I really don't believe it. What they want from Matt Forte, got to have salary cap room to take on his salary. I don't know if you guys do.
I think you should really tell us what you think, Dave. Toxic waste dump, does that come to mind? I mean, that is the worst team in the league, and I could see, and you just brought it up, I could see that they replace him with Adam Gase. That Adam Gase was a hot young talent who may disappear from the map if he stays there for 5 years.
I think John will be here for a while. I think he'll be here, long enough that he walks out of here with a bunch of money, and he's not going to win here. It's not going to happen. I think it was, in my opinion, and I said this on the air, I think it was an awful hire. An awful hire. That is not a shot that John's a bad football coach, but John Fox needed to be handed a team that was ready to kind of take the next step, that was good and needed a solid guy. He will stabilize the locker room because it was a clown show under Mark Trestman and his regime. But they needed a young, vibrant guy who would take the beating and continue to go to work every day hungry to try and get that thing turned. Yeah. That's not John Fox. He's getting the $25 million golden parachute. He's a good football coach who has zero chance of winning.
Wow. That's why I said Adam Gase. Adam Gase has got the personality. I think he would have actually been a lot better hire. They made the wrong mistake. They should have made John Fox a defensive coordinator and given Adam Gase the job.
You don't get paid $25 million to be the defensive coordinator.
Well, John Fox, he turned things around in Carolina. He turned things around here in Denver. So, I'm willing to give him a little time. Give him more time. Yeah. But here in Denver, we're talking a lot about Matt Forte being, up for trade. What about Martellus Bennett? He's a guy who's got 2 years left on this deal, unlike Matt Forte, who's only got 1. So I think that makes him a more attractive trade piece.
Yeah, I think they would move him in a second. This is a guy that didn't show up to OTAs because with 2 years left on his deal, he wanted a new contract, just like his brother Michael in Seattle. He's a good football player. He is a little bit of a clown show on the side. He's, not. He doesn't always fall in line with where he should, but he's very talented. Yeah, if he went to the Denver Broncos, you were able to make a deal to get a guy like that or a guy like Matt Forte, they would help your football team.
What are the Bears asking for Forte, David?
From what I've heard, they would like a 3, probably would settle at a 4.
Oh, that's well worth it.
I would think so.
Yeah. You could get him for a 3rd-round pick. He's a damn good football player.
Absolutely.
Well, and John Elway should be on the phone calling him and offering a 3rd-round pick. Given the Broncos' history of 3rd-round picks being awful, they could. Well, you're laughing, but think about the 3rd-round picks. Ronnie Hillman, what is he? They don't have a 3rd-round pick that's in the starting lineup. They don't even have a 2nd-round pick that's in the starting lineup other than Ty Sombrero. That's the only 2nd-round pick.
David, what's Matt's cap number for this year?
I don't remember what exactly his cap number is. I can tell you it's somewhere around 400 and some thousand a week is what you'd have to have in cap room, plus I think a $60-some thousand roster bonus. So you're looking at close to $500,000 a week left the rest of the way. So you'd have to have, probably $7 million in cap space.
Okay. Well, Dave, it's amazing. I mean, we don't see football teams do this. Certainly not after the 3rd game of the season. It feels almost like a baseball team cleaning house. Are they really?
On the air with, we were doing the show yesterday. The theoization, meaning Theo Epstein, the theoization of the Chicago Bears, just what the Cubs did.
Yeah.
Anything and everything that wasn't nailed down was traded away, for whatever they could get, and now you look. And I don't understand why football teams don't do it. I'm so tired of the narrative, well, you owe it to the 53 guys in the locker room. No, you don't. You owe it to the fan base to try and put a competitive team out there. And if it's not going to work, start rebuilding the damn thing.
Is there any chance that Jay Cutler ever comes back again? And would anybody offer anything for him? Are they just going to have to release him? He was a couple of years ago the highest paid player in the league.
Well, everybody who was clamoring to get rid of him, and I'm one of them. I never was a fan of the trade the day they made it. I remember talking to Les Shapiro. Everyone around here was like, oh, my God, we're getting a Pro Bowl 25-year-old quarterback. Teams don't give away 25-year-old Pro Bowl quarterback. The guy is not a leader. He is not a good football player. But they watched Jimmy Clausen last week, and I swear to you, Jay looked like Tom Brady compared to that. That's how bad Jimmy Clausen was.
Yeah, well, the history of John Fox, he told me when he first got here that one of the reasons why he wanted out of Carolina is they drafted Jimmy Clausen. He'd never seen him play on film or anything, and they didn't even ask him for his opinion. He said he can't play dead, and he ends up, John Fox puts him on his team and then inserts him at starting quarterback. I don't get that, Dave.
How did things get so bad?
Quarterback's last name is Fails. So what does that tell you?
How did things get so bad in Chicago, David?
Horrible drafting. Jerry Angelo had some great picks early in his tenure. Lance Briggs in the 3rd round, Devin Hester in the 2nd. He had a bunch of really good players that he brought in. But once they traded for Jay, they believed Jay was Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, that level, Roethlisberger, that he's a top 5 quarterback. And so they did nothing to address offensive line. They did nothing to address receiver. And all of a sudden, they find out, whoa, this guy's not very good. He makes too many turnovers. He doesn't have the weapons. And by the time they decided to maybe get him some toys on the offensive side, Jerry was gone. Lovey went through coordinators. He was gone. And Phil Emery is the single worst general manager in the history of the National Football League.
Is it possible, the home base of United Airlines is Chicago. Denver is another home base. It's a hub for $400, you could have put somebody on a plane, Dave, and flown them out here, or even called Les. Somebody should have called Les from the Bears.
David called me.
Well,
I told him on the radio, watch out for Kaplan.
But for $400, you could have flown a guy out here. He could have walked in at DIA and gotten on a bus and gone downtown and gone up and down the 16th Street Mall, and he'd have gone back and he said, we cannot make this deal.
Well, I called Les. I remember when the rumors were Bears. I said, hey, Les, tell me about Jay Cutler, and he started laughing. And I talked to a couple friends of mine who live there, like, you can have this guy. He's an SOB. He's this, he's that. And I remember the day they made the trade, I said, the Bears are out of their minds. This is not a good trade. And all everyone said is, you're just a hater. You're this, you're that. And now people can't stand this guy as our quarterback.
Yeah. Is there
funny, I walked up to a former Bear.
Yeah.
I won't use his name. He's still in the league. I saw him this summer at the health club. I said, can I ask you a question? What is Jay like as a teammate? He goes, he's not the cancer in the locker room that you guys think he is. He's just a no good blankety blank. He goes, and you look back and you go, I'm following him? No shot.
Yeah, he cares about nothing. Really, he cares about nothing.
Do you think if you opened up his brain, there would be nothing inside there? It'd just be empty space. That's what I think.
David, try to muddle through the Bears season. Enjoy the Cubs postseason. And as always, great to have you.
And you got the Bulls. Wow, you got to be excited about the Bulls and Derrick Rose.
Thrilled to have Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose. Everybody's favorite player.
In 2 years, he'll let you know that.
Yeah. Exactly. He's already looking forward to the next free agent contract. David, thanks. I'll talk to you soon.
All the best. See you guys.
All right, Dave Kaplan.
He broke an orbital.